turn your mobile phones even off or on silent as we're recording the concert. That would be great, thank you. Now, I think maybe we should start from the fact that I think it's really important to thank a few people. So I think we should thank the Albanian Australian Community Association and Shepparton Albanian Society, and Caesar Hupi, who's here. Thank you so much, the chair of the Albanian Australian Community Association, who supported this concert. Now, this is a very special concert for many reasons. First of all, Albania has pretty much been closed up to the world, let's say, for more, a large part of the last 100 years, really. And when it comes to actually music itself, we don't actually hear very much music at all from Albania. And I will say that today is actually the first time you would have heard classical contemporary composition in Melbourne, because this is actually the first time it's ever been performed. Now, there are, of course, some very special people, such as Alan Holly, Sydney composer Alan Holly, who amazingly has presented Albanian music not just once, but actually 8 times. So he's actually presented 8 concerts with Albanian music. I think it's the count is about 5 separate composers. So, in many ways, it's really an unknown entity. Now, I will say that historically, I think we are the Melbourne Composers League represent the Asian Composers League, which is a group of, it's really a festival, but it represents a group of composers in the Asia Pacific region. There are 14 countries. And so, over the years, I think this is our 25th year, we have presented concerts that juxtapose the music of Australia with that of another country. So this concert represents our 45th juxtaposition with another country. And most of the time, most of our concerts are focused on the Asia Pacific, but in the past we have presented the music of Romania, for example, Chile, as well as in the region, such as Japan, Philippines, Korea, Hong Kong, etc. So in many ways, I think this, our collaboration with the Albanians has been something, quite fresh for us, different, but also for the audience. It's something that's quite unusual. And I will say that, apart from, composers such as Thomas Simaku, who was actually one of the first composers to be presented overseas, outside of Albania, I should say, overseas. So Thomas, in fact, was the first composer to be presented in an ICM festival in 1995. When you think about that, that is actually not so long ago. So when you think about that, that's the first time that Albanian composers were presented in this, international forum. So the International Society for Contemporary Music, I should explain, represents more or less 50 countries around the world. And it's been around for about 100 years, and it's one of the most important organisations in the world, international organisations that presents music. So to think that he was the first to be presented in '95 means that we really, again, Albanian music has been pretty much underrepresented in the world. Now, for various reasons, and I think I say some of those, I present some of those reasons in the program, and you'll see a brief little history of Albania in the program. Of course, I should say that there's a postcard. Of course, it has the wrong date because we are in COVID times, and the last concert was cancelled. So there is a beautiful postcard by Zef Pashko Shoshi, who's an Albanian artist, and you can take some. Really they serve as a memento now, but you can take a few, as many as you like at the front when you leave. So our collaboration, I would like to finish by saying that it really was meant to be, the idea was a reciprocal concert. In this case, the idea was that there would be a concert in Albania and a reciprocal concert here, which is today. Unfortunately, I went to the Albanian one in 2020, March, 1 week into March, and it was not a very good time to travel. because what actually happened was, I had a residence in Barletta. Barletta, interestingly enough, has quite significance in Australia because our Prime Minister, or his father's from Barletta. So anyway, so if you haven't heard of Barletta, you do now. But the interesting thing, I had a residency in Barletta, and Italians being Italians, 2 days before I said, do you think I should come? What about this virus thing, and they said, oh, no, it's just up in the north, it'll be fine, So anyway, so I left on the Sunday, and here I am in Albania on the Sunday. I had a beautiful time. I should say that I met up with Ili Kodima, who's the principal horn in the Albanian opera, as well as, of course, I met Dorian Chenek, who's been presented in Ennis, live, who's been presented in this concert. But actually on the Monday I was doing the idea was that I would be there would be at least someone representing Australia. I would participate in the concert and a lecture and a concert and so on. But anyway, I was there on the Monday, so I arrived on the Sunday on the Monday, and halfway through my lecture, someone comes up to me and says, oh, sorry, I think you have to finish because the President has ordered all the universities to close. That was it, really. It was all over. So anyway, that concert did happen, but it didn't actually, it happened last year on October 18th. So 4 Australian composers were presented in a concert as part of the Balkan International Brass Festival that took place eventually. That was the idea that was meant to happen earlier. So anyway, I think I must say those 4 days remain very special memories for me. Of course, I brought back the Albanian olive oil. I was sitting in a castle having lunch, and I said to the waiter, God, that oil looks good, where's that from? And he walked me outside and he showed me the valley, and I said this valley, and there are 500-year-old trees, olive trees, and he said, oh, that's our olive groves. So anyway, so I brought back, and I enjoyed that for quite some time because I brought back quite a few litres of it. So anyway, I have very fond memories, and I love my time in Albania, and I still feel the warmth of the people, and I feel very privileged to have experienced that, a little piece of Albania, I must say. So I hope you enjoy the concert, and thank you so much for coming. It's so nice to see so many of you here, and thank you. It's great to see you all.